Hey, good morning, Misfits. It is Friday, May 15th, 2020. It is episode 450. I'm sure there's some kind of special thing about that number, but for us, it's just another day. So good morning, everybody. Great to have you all here. Hope your Friday is amazing. Go ahead and send out your 3 messages of joy, of gratitude, of peace, of love. If you're feeling excited, send out 4. If you're feeling crazy, send out 5. Because right now that would be over 100 people would receive a little gift of joy, of gratitude, of excitement. So I appreciate everybody this morning. Good to have you all here. I'm excited today, specifically because it's part of the my mastermind that I'm a part of. I've been a part of with Kyle Wilson for the last 5 years. And in the last 5 years, we've had meetings 6 times a year, 7 times a year. We've had opportunities to have a lot of behind the stage stuff, a lot of behind the scenes with Mark Victor Hansen and all these amazing souls. Phil Collin from, oh my goodness, I just lost the band. Def Leppard. I knew it'd come back to me eventually. And his bride and some other folks, Mary Caldwell Blackwell, just amazing stuff. So I get to spend 2 days virtually with about probably 60 folks, world leaders, thought leaders, folks who have real estates from 5,000 doors to 6,000 doors. And in real estate, that's how many units they own. Hear about what they're doing, how they're working in the real estate world right now with people not having work and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting 2 days for me. So I hope everybody's doing well. If you get your messages sent out, that would be awesome. Drop a D in the chat. If you're new to the room, I see some new faces on here. Drop an N in the chat and let us welcome you. Say good morning to you. We appreciate you. Hope you're having an amazing day. I see some hands up already. Let me just give you a quick idea of Roxy. Great to have you here. What a great name. Roxy, thanks for showing up. That's an awesome name. Let's see here. We've got Elena. We got KGIG. We've got Enya. We've got some new folks here. Good morning, Brian. Great to have you here. Let's see here. So when are you? Now, most of us would think, when am I what? Right? That might be a response that came through your mind. When am I what? My question is when are you? Are you past? Are you future? Or are you present? If you ask that question on a regular basis, and I mean fairly often, you'd be surprised where you're at. You, the body, are here. But if you're stressed, you're not here. If you're worrying, you're not here. If you're frustrated, you're not here. If you're out of joy, you're missing the moment. I know that sounds, I don't know, sometimes people go, why are you being such a big meanie? Well, I don't mean to be a big meanie. It's just be aware. Can you sit right now where you're at, and can you feel your feet? Can you feel your kneecaps? That's when you'll start to realize you're present, when you can truly feel you in this moment. I see a couple of hands popped up real quick. Is it Nika? Nika? How do you say your name?
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is Nika.
Nika, yay! Listen, 1 out of 100. Even a blind squirrel can find an acorn. I got it right. Good morning, Nika.
Good morning. How are you?
Outstanding. How are you?
Amazing. Thank you.
How can we be of service to you this morning?
Yes. So I messaged you yesterday. I was like, I love everything you were saying. And you weren't here on Saturday, but I basically had this question where I was asking how I can raise my vibration to attract more of what I want. And Rhonda basically told me to just be more of who I am. And that's also what you were saying yesterday. But I'm having this contradiction of how I can just be more of who I am and also make money for just being who I am. Because
Cool.
in my mind, I have this like idea that like, money has to be made in a certain way, or I have to have certain types of conversations to make money and things like that. So I'm just trying to, yeah, wrap my head around how I can just be more of me and have that be enough to make money, I guess.
So Nika asks a great question. Let me just see if it's something that runs through the community. How many of you feel that if you were more of you, the core of you, the heart of you, life might be a little bit better? Sometimes we operate with a mask or with some ideas on. So if you'd like more of you, just type an M or more or yes, yes. Okay. So Nika, here's a great question. So since I don't believe you and I have had a dialogue yet, could I ask you 3 questions?
Yes.
First question is, good morning, good morning. Do I have your permission to guide you, to give you some help?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Second question might be a little tough, and I hope you answer it the best way. And so the second question is can I make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? Because you want something you haven't had before. You might have to do or think a way you've never done
Mhm.
before. So is it okay if I make you a little bit uncomfortable?
I'm ready. I'm ready to be uncomfortable.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. I love your smile. And third question is, congratulations, you get to the third question. Can I take you out of that uncomfortable feeling if we happen to go there?
Yes.
Cool. So here's what I get so far. You have this amazing personality that's filled with joy, that people come to you all the time to ask for your guidance. They want you around them because you seem to be, I don't want to say the life of the party, but you're the one that keeps the party having life, whether it's a one-on-one or a one-on-5. And just you have this joy. There's this confidence that you have that is propped up by being around others. But the second that you're on your own by yourself and driving home or something, there's a lot of not necessarily what they say, or it's more of what you say about you when you leave a group or community. I could be totally
Hmm.
wrong. God knows I've been wrong before. But
Hmm.
does any of that kind of make sense?
Yeah, a little bit. There's some communities where I feel like really amazing after I leave, where I'm like, wow, like I showed up as who I am and everyone there was authentic and aligned. And I feel happy going home.
But
Um,
those are few communities in your world.
yes.
Yes.
I'm trying to make them more.
So
But
here's and the reason I can tell that is because your smile is so good right now because of you and I having a dialogue. There might be and I don't think there is, but there's a little bit of nervousness, but not much, only because it's just we haven't spoken before. But you have this incredible smile that you have been able to use, and you've been able to I don't want to say protect, preserve your joy by making other people happier than you sometimes.
mm,
So all that being said, that is an essence that comes across. That's an essence that comes across when you start talking about finances, whether it be giving them, whether it be receiving them, whether it be having a dialogue. The key is with engaging in energy. Money's just energy,
mm,
right? So we can travel the world and we can look at energy a different way. I mean, a perfect example is our AC versus DC current over there, right? In London, in Europe. And so we got to have different plugs, and we got to have adapters, and we got to have this. So what you've done very well in a variety of groups is you become the energy adapter based upon language, right?
mm.
So whether it be laughter, people probably love to hear your laugh. We've never heard your laugh. So all I'm saying is that you have this joy about you, that there's probably a little old story somewhere hidden in your past that runs at a subconscious level that just, it doesn't keep you stuck, but it keeps you at the end of that chain that the end of that chain isn't the end of what you can do. So what do you do different? What's in your journal? Are you journaling on a regular basis?
Yes.
Okay, good. I would encourage you to start journaling the 3 questions. What'd you do well? What could you have done better? And what talent, resource, or skill do you need in your life?
Mm-hmm.
And do that at night, because at night, what happens is that your reticular activating system is going to start doing the things you need to do to answer that, because the brain looks for 2 things. Will it kill me, or how fast can I recognize a pattern? If you were to ask some people who you've wanted to engage in your life with finances, with the money side of your business, and they haven't, I'd be curious for you to go back and ask them, hey, I'm curious why you decided not to join me in business. And what'll happen is, and this is where we have to be able to tell our consistent story. This is where we have to be able to ask more questions than we talk. Because if I were to talk about my business, and if I were to engage somebody in a conversation about joining me in business, it's rare that somebody could say, I could do what you do if I were to use my talent and skill. So what I've become very good at using my talent and skill for is finding out what next step you can take, not the step you can't take. So I need to find when are they? All too often people are thinking about, I need money for the future. I need money for the future. I've got these bills coming up, and they can't even hear our presentation in the now. Or they see somebody like you with this beautiful smile and this joy, and you're making it sound so easy, and all they can think of is the last time they heard something easy, it didn't work for them. So in your dialogue, if you were to record your presentations, right, only for training purposes, if you were to record your conversations with people, you might be surprised, if you listen to it with the intent to understand, that you would hear the moment that they said they couldn't do what you do. You'd actually hear the transition in their voice. And that's because you're unlike anyone else out there. You show up with this smile on your face. There's a glowing on your face. There's a joy inside of you. And that's because you truly want people to win. But sometimes your joy for them to win makes them realize, I could never win. And I know that I'm not saying that to be mean. It's because of, if you start to ask the questions, now all of a sudden they can realize you're helping them search to find their own joy. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So you could ask questions. When you sit down to have a conversation with somebody, you might ask them a question. Hey, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Tell me why we're here. I know it sounds, everybody, when I teach them that, they're like, what? Yeah, tell me why we're here. Well, you're going to tell me about your thingamajiggy, that thing you do, right? No. I know. Yes, hopefully we get to that. But what made you show up? And then what happens is you start to get to their essence. See, a lot of people, there's Kira. Good morning, Kira. There's a lot of people here who are taught scripts and taught presentations, and they use conversations to get people to an event, because a one-on-one is an event, or a one-on-two is an event. Have you ever left to go to the grocery store with a list and forgotten something on that list? If that's possible, if that could happen, what do you think somebody who's sitting that has to admit they don't have the money to get started. They don't have the time to get started. They've come up with 17 excuses on their way to the meeting. They were told when they told somebody that they love and care for, I'm going to an event to talk about a business. Do you think maybe, possibly, somebody told them, you're not good at business. Why are you going to that stupid thing?
Mm.
And that's all before they ever showed up with you. And then you're going to present to them a comp plan where they can make $1,000 or $6,000, where they can plug into a back office and learn all about something that's wildly technical, that has the high chance of losing money, high chance of big gains. And then they got to understand market, and they got to understand trends and this, that, and the other. And besides that, there's X number of dollars to get started for you to lose money. What? How is it possible you enroll anybody? Because it's them seeing the possibility of living their dream. Do you realize how strong you have to be to tell somebody, to put somebody into a business to where it's, listen, they'll give you a dummy account and you can lose some money in that and you're not going to get hurt. But when you get ready to make to start to make the trades, whoo, you can make some good money. Could I lose it? Well, yeah, but we're going to teach you how to not do that. What do you mean I could lose money? You mean I'm going to pay you to lose money? Do you think that conversation ever happens subconsciously with people? You mean I'm going to get into the stock market where my dad lost all of our family savings? Do you mean I'm going to see those people who jump out of buildings? I'm going to become one of those people who jump out of buildings? Because they're going to go to extremes.
Mm.
It's not that you're not good enough. It's not that you're not caring enough. It's that their old story is so strong, it matters not how much you love them, but how much they've seen themselves fail in the past.
Mm.
So when you start, think about it. I don't know if anybody's ever thought about it, because you guys are all being given the script to go pitch it, but I'm giving you the script of reality. The fact that you can have people, you're asking people to pay a bunch of money to get started to lose money. Man, y'all are better than me. Y'all are much better than me. Seriously. Yeah, is there a big upside? Absolutely. But even the smallest downside makes it a challenge. And it's really hard to duplicate when you have listen, I deal in the wellness world, and if somebody doesn't get well, they don't go tell their friends how much they weren't well. What I love is the profession, the side of the business that I'm in. It's a visual. Somebody gives away 30 pounds, you can't not see them. Somebody loses $30, you ain't never going to see it. Somebody makes $30, you ain't never going to see it. So as you sit there with people, it's important to ask them, what are their dreams worth? When is the last time they saw themselves successful? Now, if you have the guts to ask that question, which you should, every one of you should, because if you're not, you're working too hard. So if I were to ask you, Nika, when's the last time you were on a winning team?
Right now.
Okay, prior to this.
In university, when I was leading a service club.
Okay, and how long ago was that?
5 years.
Did you just hear that, ladies and gentlemen? In this very short time frame that Nika's been around, it's been 5 years. The first memory she had of was 5 years ago. Do you realize that if you're talking to somebody, and Nika, I'm not allowed to ask your age, so my mama would yell.
I'm 24.
Okay, so 19. You realize that when you're talking to a 30-year-old, do you realize that, like Dana Scranton and I are a little over 24 years old? when we talk to people our age, when I talk to another 50-year-old, you know, when they have to go back to when they were the last time they were on a winning team, probably when they were 19 running a service club in college. So when we sit down and we say, I'd love you to join network marketing, it's the fact that it's a team of giving individuals who care, who are in the now, who are in the when. And when they are, the people who show up, who haven't had a service team, as Jessica says, a support team around them, they show up now in the support team, and all they can look at them is with vinegar and venom, because it's like they can't believe they've been conditioned for the last 40 years, 30 years, that nobody's out to help them. And then we all show up supporting them, helping them. And they're like, I can't believe this. And then once they do find it and people call them up and say, hey, I'm here to help you. It's like, you don't do that in the real world. This can't be real. This is a scam. They're really going to take me. And they come up with 1,001 reasons to get excused from the business. So as you sit there, people will do more for their dreams than they will for yours. They are tricked to do more for yours than they will for their own. But if you can help somebody have freedom and start to see the light of their own life and get into the when, it's an amazing process. See, I'm not a huge enroller. I'm not. I've only enrolled in my lifetime 39 people. Out of those, 35 are still in the business. Not necessarily mine, because I'm all about you taking care of you, but we are all still friends. Well, what happened to the other 3? They've passed away. I say that to say this. And so I've only enrolled in Latin America 1. No, just 1. And that turned into 30,000. I'm good at what I do because I spend time with those that do it. Why? Because we have to break through so many old paradigms, so many old traditions. And the way we can do that is make sure we give them a chance to really, really see in the mirror. You have the capability. I see it in your eyes. I see it in your smile. I see it in your joy, and I see it in your pain of wanting to be of service and feeling like you're not. So what I would encourage you is there's this caregiver side to you. There's this I'll do anything for you side for you. I see a little smile. Did I miss that, or did I kind of get that right?
No, I'm just thinking that I don't know if you know the Enneagram. I'm an Enneagram 3 with the 2 wings. So I have the achiever side, and then I also have a big side of me that's caring about others.
Yeah. And listen, we've never met. I get all of this from your micro expressions in your face and the way you ask the question. This is the understanding of human predictability and human nature. Who we are speaks so loud, we don't need to hear what you're saying, because people will lie. I don't know if you've run into any folks like that. So Nika, what I would encourage you to do is to say, listen, and be yourself. Don't be anything else, and say, listen, I absolutely enjoy helping people succeed. But one of the best ways I found to do that is to make sure you're ready. So I would encourage you to become comfortable at asking the 3 questions I've asked you. Those questions have made me significant money in my lifetime. Do I have your permission to help? What does that do? So the fact that I asked you that now allowed me to give you ideas and thoughts of things maybe you've never had before. It's going to allow you to pick up what I'm Funny how this goes. It's going to allow you, I'm going to use the kids language. It allows you to pick up when I'm laying down. Isn't that from the 70s though? Did I just like, it allows you to hear and be able to walk away with some of my stuff so that your subconscious goes, yeah, but that's his. I can't use that. I have to find it on my own. I'm not smart enough to find stuff on my own. I really need mentors and advisors. Then the second question is do I have your permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? Listen, if you're going to help somebody do something they've never done, think a way they've never thought, feel a way they've never felt, you are going to absolutely create a perfect storm in their life of 1,001 things in their past of when they weren't comfortable and it didn't work out. Which is why you want to ask the third question. Awesome, you answered. Because here's the thing, Nika, if I asked you, do I have your permission to help? I want you to say no to me when I ask you. Hey, Nika, do I have your permission to help?
I can't say no.
I know you can't, but just say it just for the role play.
No.
Awesome. What else would you like to talk about today before I leave? My conversation is done. You do not get my time. I am not a teacher and you didn't pay me to come to school. You came here to find a way to change your life, to enhance your day. And if you don't want my help, have a nice day. But too many of you get done with your presentations and go, oh my gosh, I don't know why they don't get it. You know why they didn't get it? Because you couldn't give it to them. Ain't their fault. It's not their fault. Ouch. Smack. You didn't set up the story correctly. You're there to serve. But listen, could you imagine if you were a server at the table and every time you came and you brought water and you brought food, the thing they ordered, the thing they wanted off of the menu of life, and they kept going, no, I don't want that. Send that back. You're like, son of a, I'm not coming back. But in this business, we're like, no, listen, no, let me tell you, no, you could make a lot of money here. You should be doing this. You need this. And you keep burning that bridge. And burning that bridge and pouring gas on it. And then you're the one frustrated because they said no to themselves. It's why I never get a no. I do not get no's. But you're all taught, go for the no, go for 1,000 no's, go for 100 no's. I'm like, y'all are idiots. It's only because you didn't know you could go for yeses. Mm-hmm. They don't want to teach you go for yeses because you've got to learn human nature. You've got to learn dialogue, not script. You've got to learn to really care for people and not beat yourself up. You've got it's okay for you to be you. And everybody else is trying to teach you to be them. Listen, do you want a Lamborghini and a 10,000 square foot house on the beach, Nika?
Eventually.
But right now, what do you want?
Right now, I want to help 600 people to believe in themselves.
And that would, if 600 people began to believe in themselves, what would that do for you?
Well, the feeling of that wish fulfilled is feeling like I've used my time and purpose to positively impact other people's lives. So, and that feeling itself is what I'm after, right? So
you're going to listen to my heart. Here's question number 2, a little uncomfortable. So you're going to limit yourself in your business model to only supporting and helping people. I think you want to do it in every breath. See, the challenge is you think you have to be in business. I'm going to encourage you to be in life. That's a worthy goal. That's a worthy goal. I will do just about anything to help you fulfill, but it doesn't have to be in your business. Let's make that a side effect. When you open the door today, if you ever held open a door for somebody, for an older guy, for somebody like me, you see me walking in and you're like, let me hold the door open for him. He may not be able to make it in on his own. Today's the first day without his cane. But if you do that and you share that smile, you have made somebody's life better, even if it's for just a moment. So you didn't give a time frame of how long those 600 people had to be in joy. You realize you could do that between now and Sunday. With your energy, you could do that. And if you start to do that, you start to create the ripple effect. And all of a sudden now, if 600 people are feeling more joyful because of Nika, and they're feeling more grateful because of Nika. And all of a sudden, what happens, Jim Rohn says, when you start to bring value, income is nothing different than rungs on a ladder. And you want to go to the top, provide more value. You've heard the phrase, bring value to the marketplace. So you're thinking you have to bring it through this business model. And that's what drives you nuts, is because when you start talking about people living their dreams, having success, they can't see it, and you feel like you're the one losing. But you start bringing that to the world, and then people start going, how do you do that? Well, I teach that, and I get paid to that. I've partnered with a company that's going to allow me to help over 600 people have joy in the moment so that they can live joy in the rest of their life. Now, how much would somebody pay, as opposed to, let me tell you 8 ways to make an account plan, and let me show you the 75,000 ways you can lose money, but there's 6 ways you can if you really pay attention to this pip and that pip, and you won't have retracement. What the hell are you talking about? I thought you said you make people happy. Oh yeah, I work on that too.
I think that was my breakthrough, Sean, because I think what you just said is that I can show up and provide value. It doesn't necessarily have to be them joining the business. But if I'm just someone that's just of so much value, then by the laws of the universe, money will flow, right? And
there's 104, Nika, between you and me, there's 138 other people on this call. What have you paid for this?
Nothing.
You're paying with your most precious thing, your life and your time. Did I invite you here?
No.
So you're showing up on my call for free, getting, and listen, I'm going to just say it because nobody else has said it. Brilliant conversation, brilliant from your side, brilliant from my side, getting a breakthrough that you haven't been able to get with any of the leaders that you've been listening to, because they want to teach you a script. They don't want to take the time to hear you enough to hear you. And now you get to go change 600 lives, 600,000 lives, because you're just getting started. And what do I get? I get your smile in the world. I get those 600,000 smiles showing back up for my family. I'm very clear of how I get paid. And I'm not in your business, but I am in the same business of building people. And when I see that you are just struggling to build people, to build impact, to create joy in lives, I will move mountains. When the storm comes and the storm says, I am the storm, and the mountain says, I am the mountain, it does not move. I will move that mountain for you. It's easy for me to move that mountain. Because when somebody like you shows up and says, I struggle, it makes me frustrated that I can't do more for people. It's because you think you have to do more. When you are in your joy, you are doing so much less, energetically wise, and they can receive more. So I bring you back to the question that we started with. When are you? And when you're in this moment, and in that smile, and in that brain that's absolutely worrying at 100,000 thoughts a second right now, oh my gosh, this is so much easier. I get to live with that smile on my face all the time.
It's almost like too easy to believe that it's true.
Listen,
you know, because I've been taught so many things. I've been taught you need to make a funnel, and then an email list, and then you have to do this and this and this, and then you have to become an influencer. And I'm in the hair care biz, by the way, not the trading one.
Okay.
And
so
and also and with
begins
that,
with an M,
you know,
yes? Does it begin with an M?
Monet, yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole reason I felt like I couldn't be myself is because all these other girls were, you know, being so beautiful and stuff, and I was like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if my hair's nice enough and all that, you know.
So yeah, so here's the other part to that. at least in the trading side, there's not a comparison of beauty. Now you add that whole thing on. The third question was, do I have your permission? Can I take you out of the uncomfortable spot? Yeah. So now that tells me a little bit more about what could happen at a personal level. So here's the thing. You get paid. You've partnered with a company to not only give self-confidence and help somebody find their inner beauty, but also to create the income that goes around having control and building their freedom. I get compensated. I get rewarded to teach people, to teach women, because that's your huge market, to teach women how to wash their hair and cash their checks.
I love that you said inner beauty too, because I feel like that aligns so well with me. It's like I help them with their mindset. I help them feel better about themselves internally and externally.
Mm-hmm. That's all we do. That's all we do in any business. Even in trading, that's all they should be focusing on, because it doesn't matter if anybody's ever been involved in the weight loss industry. You can help somebody lose 30 pounds and they still don't see themselves. Cybernetics, Maxwell Maltz, Cybernetics. He was a plastic surgeon, and he realized the reason that he went into the mindset and understanding the neurology of beauty, the neurology of self-worth, is that he would do reconstructive surgery on people. I mean, horrific facial disfiguring, and he would make them look as close to normal as possible, and they would look beautiful comparatively. But once they took the bandages off, they still saw the old face. See, when you help somebody's hair becomes more beautiful. Here's a question, Nika, I would ask you to become very comfortable at asking people in your particular business, because of the beauty that it works on the outside faster than it does on the inside. You know what I mean by that, right? Is I say, Nika, let me ask you, as you start to use our products and as you start to swim in our community, who's going to be jealous of your success? Who's going to be jealous that your beautiful hair that you already have is even more beautiful, more full, more shiny? Women notice that stuff. Who's going to be, who do you think's going to, and you say it with a fun loving side of it. Who's going to be jealous of your newfound beauty? And all of a sudden they'll go, well, nobody. Oh, come on. You know, there's that. Listen, I got them. I got haters, if you will, that if I go out and I get my ears done or my nails done, they're like, oh, that's so beautiful. And I'll be damned if tomorrow they don't go with their nails and they got 2 more things of bling on their pinky. Women are extraordinarily unique in their ability to be competitive in a not so positive nature. Does that help, Nika?
I mean, I try not to tap into the energy of jealousy, but
no. It's
I get it from a playful way.
It is, but you're not. But you have to deal. Listen, if the demon is coming up, if I'm going to help them look more beautiful, if I'm going to help them have more self-confidence, if they're going to be able to stand taller in a crowd, they are going to get seen and get shot at. Mm-hmm. It is your responsibility as the commander of this army to make sure you protect your crew. And jealousy will come. You don't need to deal with that. You need to protect them about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? If I ding your car and don't tell you about it, and it's the tiniest little scratch, you go, son of a, are you kidding? I give Sean my car and he scratches my car. But if I tell you, Nika, I feel so bad. I will pay for the paint job. I promise. I'm so sorry. I just, you're like, what happened? I dinged your car. And you walk out and you go, where? And I point to it and it's this little spot right there. Oh my God, don't even worry about it. You see the difference? Mm-hmm. But if you find it on your own, which they're going to find the jealousy on their own, this is just human nature. This is just, it frustrates me to say it, but this is women as they start to become more beautiful. As women start to step into their joy, man, there are a lot of crabs in that bucket that want to pull you back down. Not to mention The guys who are the biggest buttheads. Why are you getting your own money? You don't need no money. Why are you looking so beautiful? You look beautiful the way you were, because now all of a sudden they feel they don't match up. Does that help?
Yes.
What's one thing you learned, one thing you liked from our dialogue?
One thing I learned is that the reason I was not attracting the money and the 600 people and all that is because I was kind of overcomplicating how I had to show up and how I had to provide value. And I was getting stuck comparing myself to other leaders and things like that. Whereas I just needed to be me and share my smile and share my heart. And in the sharing of value and in the conversation of allowing others to share their dreams with me and having that transformation with them, that in itself creates this ripple effect of value, which will in turn bless me financially and all of that. And that feels really good. And one thing I liked is the new way that I now have of looking at my business, because it really is about that inner confidence and that outer confidence. And for so long I had this block, because here's the thing, I've sold a lot of things in my life. Before this, I used to do high ticket sales where I literally just had those conversations with people for coaching programs. And I would go through the whole script, learning their dreams and everything like that. But for some reason, I was just not selling beauty products. And I think I had my own block around who am I to sell beauty products. And I can sell the business and I recruit a lot. I would like to recruit more, but I just couldn't sell the product. And now I'm like, okay, it's because I had this block around what the product actually can do for people.
Yeah, you were more about the ingredients than the results.
So, Sean, real quick, I got to point out just the
Yep.
female brain. Nika.
Hi, Rhonda.
Good morning.
Good
How are you,
morning.
beautiful?
I'm great.
So what you just said, just now, go back. Oh, I am looking crazy. Go back and review this when Sean puts it up, because what you just said right there, I would have joined you. Without a doubt, I would have joined you, because I was sitting here and I'm ironing because I'm getting ready to go on the road in a couple hours. I'm ironing, I'm moving around, I haven't had my camera on, and I heard your voice change. And I heard it go into your heart. And you said, I've sold a lot of things. I can sell businesses, but I've never thought about being able to sell beauty. And I connected instantly with your heart, because I'm like, I've never thought of being the face of a beauty company. Me? What? And I heard that in you going, yeah, I'm not the face of the beauty company. I can sell you the business. I can teach you how to make money, but don't put me as the cover girl. And instantly I connected to you. Instantly, I'm like, oh my God, that's me. And so I had to stop and put my coffee down and put the iron down. And I'm like, okay, I got to turn my camera on for this, because when you spoke from there, that was your heart coming out. And any woman you said that to would be like, oh, I don't care what it is, just give it to me. I want to work with you. Go back and listen to this after Sean puts it up, because I'm like, oh, that was your heart center. And that was gold right there. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Huh. Nika smiles a little bit bigger, a little bit brighter, a little bit more of your source than your shield. Good job, girl.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you too.
See what happens, folks. Listen, if I had a $5,000 coaching program, now I could probably sell that to Nika, but I don't. But my point is that if there's no, people will pay ungodly sums of money to find their space. And we, in the matter of a 30-minute conversation, you guys have prospected people longer for that and not had breakthroughs as big as this. Because you're trying to teach them your comp plan or your ingredients or your something. All I needed to do was spend some time and listen intelligently. Now that takes skill, that takes practice. I get that. But she knew exactly her answers. The question is can you ask the questions to let them get to their answers, not yours? Thanks for playing with me this morning, Nika. I love you tons. You're awesome. Let's see. I'm not even sure how to say this one. K-A-R-Y-N-A.
Hey, Sean. Karina.
Hey.
How are you? I wanted to introduce my mom.
Hi, Mom.
Listening in.
How are you? Good morning.
Good morning.
Every morning, even though I'm working, I hear you in my in the background always.
Mom, thank you for being such an amazing soul, and for all those that'll never get a chance to say thank you for all of the joy you've brought into the world from the moment you showed up in this planet, the smiles you put on. Thank you for all you do. I'm honored to meet you.
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, everyone. So my mom wants to be uncomfortable during this moment in order for her to be able to receive, receive a new perspective on her situation. So we would like to ask your question, Mom.
Hi. So I'm having a problem just learning how to just relax. I mean, I've been through a lot in the past, and now there's no reason for me not. I'm at peace now, and I'm having a problem accepting that peace and internally, and just finding a way of just relaxing and just sitting back and glorifying and just taking in the moment. So if there's any advice you can give for me, so I can just probably try to internalize all this, because it's been a battle I've had for a very long time. But I'm at a good place now. Cool. Can I get a whoop whoop?
Whoop whoop. So, Mom, if I may ask your first name.
Myrna.
Myrna. So, Myrna, here's what rolls through this farm boy's brain. You have grown up from the very earliest memories in the idea of lack. A dear friend of mine, have you ever heard of the name Les Brown?
Yes.
Okay, so Les Brown, I'm actually going to be on screen with him again today at 4:00. But Les Brown tells a story in his book, You Gotta Be Hungry, about a white line on a bus. Do you know what he would be referring to when Les is 74 now and back when he was a child? So 70 years ago, there was a white line on the bus he had to stand behind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He also talks about the story about when he went to the house with his mom when his mom would go to clean houses and be in the maid's outfit, right? 70 years ago. Right. And when Miss Harris would send her into the room, she had to clap her hands. You know what that means, right?
May I enter?
Well, clap her hands so they knew she wasn't stealing stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So I say that to say this, and that's what changed Les's life. That's when he said, if I was a man, you wouldn't have to clap your hands anymore. I would cook for you. I would make dinner for you. Now, I don't know where you grew up in your childhood, But regardless of where you grew up, you had to grow up with dealing with similar kinds of situations. So I say that to say this, where you're at peace now is in the now. The challenge where the reason the peace doesn't stay is because you might not have gone back and said thank you to that little girl who made a decision unbeknownst to you that you're going to be in this moment right now.
Wow. That's powerful. Yeah.
Can you think of a moment, one of the most, and you don't need to describe it to me, but can you think of a moment that you were challenged as a woman, challenged as a race, challenged as a religion? Can you think of a particular moment that stands out in your life from way back when that just absolutely steeled you in a new decision, in a new direction that you're like, I will never be that person? Can you think of a moment like that?
Yes, I can think of plenty.
Okay. And I have no doubt. So I want you to pick one of those for me. And it's,
Okay.
is it Myrna?
Yes.
So Myrna, I want you to pick one of those for me real quick. And
Okay.
real quick, do I have your permission to help?
Absolutely.
Do you have permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable?
Yes, I need that.
And permission to take you out of that uncomfortable feeling?
Yes, because
So-
as a Virgo, we're always, you know.
Uh-oh,
who's
watch,
right.
the chat's going to blow up now with Virgo stuff. Hang on.
Virgo's in the house. But
So,
we're never wrong. So
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
feeling uncomfortable is sometimes what's needed. We need that rude awakening. You know? Hey, Virgo.
I told you. So watch this, Myrna. I want you to go back to that particular moment. And I'm going to have you close your eyes here in just a second. Because do you remember about how old you were at that moment?
Yes,
Okay. Can you share with me how old? I just want to get a picture of you at that age.
8 years old.
8 years old. So I want you to go back and I want you to picture the moment it's about to happen. It hasn't happened. So what you're thinking of is the event has already transpired. I want you to go back to just prior to that moment, as close as you can get to just prior.
Okay.
I want you to close your eyes for just a second. And I want you to see that little girl, Myrna, who's sitting there. And I want you to go back to that moment. And you're going to show up as this beautiful, powerful, strong woman who you are now. And the only one that can see you is this little 8-year-old Myrna. And I want you to walk over to her. And she's going to look up at you and she's going to instantly recognize you. And she's going to hug you and love you because you're you. But I want you to lean down to her and I want you to kiss her on the cheek. And I want you to let her know that what's about to happen from 8 to now, you'll never leave her.
Wow.
That she's strong. That what she's about to experience is only going to be strength. It wasn't her fault. It wasn't who she was told she was. This is who she is becoming. This is the strength that's going to allow her to have a daughter that's just as beautiful as this 8-year-old, that's going to allow her to have a family and live a life that she's never dreamed possible. To get to a place to where things like that's about to happen don't ever exist ever again. You're the one responsible for breaking the change. You're the one responsible for giving your family a life that no one ever thought possible.
Wow.
And that started at 8 years old.
That was powerful. Thank you.
Does that make sense?
It certainly does.
Cool.
It really does. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you called. Oh my gosh, that was so powerful. It's like I felt myself in the moment. And wow, you're amazing.
Listen, Myrna, that only works if both of us are.
Yes. Oh, thank you. No, I really felt it, and I envisioned myself doing that, and I envisioned, you know what? I'm getting emotional because I saw the
You will.
8-year-old me
Yep.
looking up, and that was powerful.
And listen, don't be surprised if you get a little bit more emotional through the rest of the day,
Okay.
because you're this, listen, Myrna, you are stronger than any steel that ever existed. And I can tell that because of your fun-loving attitude. You've had to not only brush off stuff, you've had to unbury yourself from things in your life.
Yes.
And you step up and you go, it's all good. And yet in doing such, listen, Paulo Coelho in his book, Manuscript Found in a Craw, it's a great story, talks about the scars you carry are stronger than the sword that made them. You carry this beautiful hair that you have on the top of your head, that every strand of that is a book in of its own. Every smile that you have, this big, and I'm going to say this with all love and respect, this big ass beautiful smile that you have
Oh, love
is
you.
absolutely joyous. But most people don't know the buckets of tears that are behind that.
That's right. That's right.
And that little 8-year-old that you just gave joy to today, in an epigenetics, in a scientifically way, you've just made all of those things a little bit less painful through the rest of your life. And you've made the joys a little bit higher in your life, because you ready for the next thing, Myrna?
Oh, should I sit down?
No.
This is awesome. This is like
No,
so
no, because I
mindful.
know it's been a lot, but I want to let you know what you just did for your daughter and for your grandchildren and your great-great-grandchildren.
Mm.
You don't know your great-great-great-great-grandmother, but her nose is on your face. Everything that she went through, every trial, every racist thing, every sit down and behind the white line, that every woman prior to you, every man that has made you up, mom, dad, grandmom, grandpa, all of that resides in your cells. It's why you do the things like your mom does or your grandma. I didn't know Granny. I didn't know Auntie Sue. Well, you're just like her.
That's right. That's right.
All of that resides in your cells. And what you just did when you went back to your 8-year-old, you rewired your body to say, I'm strong enough. And at a subconscious level, that's why you'll get tearful during the day. Your whole body is rewiring itself to say, well, if I was strong then I wasn't weak here. And I don't need to think less of myself. And you're going to have these awakenings at an energetic level that you're going to go, why am I crying right now?
Wow.
So now here's the scientific part. That little amazing soul that stands next to you, how much of her is made up of you? 50%.
Mm-hmm.
And every sorrow that you have shows up in her cells, and every joy that you have shows up in her cells. That's why there's two of you stand there energetically today. That's why when you just went through your emotions, we didn't see your daughter on camera, but all of a sudden she was probably tearing up. And it's not just mirror neurons. It is a scientific connection of it's called quantum mechanics. So now picture this. The joy you just went through will now reside in your grandchildren and your great-great-grandchildren. And for generations to come, the joy you just allowed your body to have, the matriarch of your family, now gets passed on to the next generations and the next generations.
Wow.
So you, this queen of your kingdom, is truly making the world a better place. And I promise you, 135 people on this call witnessed wisdoms and miracles right now in your presence, Myrna. So thank you for bringing you to this call.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It was an honor to meet you, and I thank you for waking me up. I think I was sleeping for a while.
And listen, you are always welcome here, Mom. You are always welcome here, because
I'm a school teacher, so I have to go back to teaching. But I love you guys. It's amazing. My daughter's always, listening to you in the morning. So it's funny how when I'm teaching my students, I hear you in the background, and they're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "A very smart person." Now focus on me.
Myrna, thank you. RBP, would you like to say anything to Myrna? #mom.
Oh yeah, Myrna, you are this amazing, beautiful soul. I do want to tell you this. Your daughter came on a few weeks ago with a pivotal decision. And I got to give you some props, because she had it spoken into her somewhere, and I'm going to guess it's from you, to seek out wisdom and speak to someone that's not of her age and that would have more wisdom than she does. And it's one thing I always tell people of a younger age: please don't ask wisdom of somebody your own age, because they have the same years that you do. So they don't have the wisdom that you need to really, really make a pivotal decision. And she came on and she exposed some insecurities and some worries and concerns. And she stood in her own strength and went head to head with accepting Sean's leadership and guidance, and hearing him and putting herself aside for the moment and hearing him and hearing his wisdom and making decisions. And I still don't know what decisions she made, but to see that she did that, Myrna, she got that leadership from you. And she's walking through life going, I've got to find more wisdom. I've got to find a better angle. I've got to find people that can speak into me, that aren't trying to rob me of anything. They're only trying to put into me. And she gets that from you, Mama.
Oh my gosh.
You inspire me, because I've got a little 8-year-old in there that I want to do that with. And I want to see us on a picture like y'all, head to head and loving each other, and have my daughter pursuing her dreams the way you've put it in her heart. And I'm like Sean, it tells me a lot about your DNA. You got some amazing DNA, because your daughter is amazing, and you birthed her, you grew her, and you took care of her, and you did all these things to create this beautiful life. And God breathed life in those lungs, and you said, you know what, I'll take care of her and I will guide her. And you have done an amazing job. But then here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. So that is, oh my gosh, phenomenal. And then you have the ability to show up and be vulnerable in front of her at our age and lay it all down in front of your daughter and go, I need some help. That blew me away. I haven't been able to move out of this chair, and I got 900 things I need to get done to leave in a few minutes. I couldn't move because I thought, God, give me the ability when my daughter is any age to be able to become vulnerable in front of her and ask for help. Because what you just did is you showed her, no matter what, sweet daughter, you can ask for help. And it is okay to ask for help at any age.
That's right.
You sent my hope meter like,
Oh
my God. You are so much love, and you are so much joy. I don't know how your body holds it all, because I can see it. It just
It comes
oozes
out that
of you.
smile. It comes right out that
is.
smile.
The smile, the hair. I mean, you gave me hope, and I hope my daughter and I love each other the way y'all love each other, and hold each other up and smile and laugh together. You're an amazing woman, Myrna. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you. Wow,
I
that was
love you,
powerful.
woman.
Thank you. I love you back. I love all of you. Oh my God, this is awesome. Thank you. You made my Friday.
You guys are Thank you guys.
This is truly what we all live for, is
That's
to
right.
be in moments of this, even if we're just witnesses. Y'all are awesome. Y'all
Right
think
back at you.
y'all
Right
think
back
we
at
made
you.
your Friday. You made our Fridays. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
And Mom,
Thank
you
you.
are always welcome. And listen, and you have your daughter reach out to me. You get my personal cell phone if I can ever be of service, because I need you in this world. My 16-year-old son needs strong women like you in this world, because that strength flows through the world and shows up in his life. Because, you know, I'm his dad. I'm an idiot, right? So I need you in this world, Myrna. I need you. I need to be by your side if you'll let me. So anything I can do to help.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. This is awesome.
Yay!
Yay!
We get to do this. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Love you guys. Blessings on you.
Thank you.
And that just happened. Oh my goodness graciousness. What? This is that. Listen, that's prospecting right there. Helping somebody find their way. Now, the challenge is most of us won't be able to walk up and find somebody who's as strong as a Myrna. Everybody wants to be. They'll put on the charade that they want to be that strong. And you all know she was like tougher than nails, right? But she can be so. Brene Brown says it best. Have a soft front and an iron back. And Myrna has learned that through the process of something called life. The challenge is sometimes we let our shining be that of our shield, not of our heart. You all know that woman could walk up to anyone and start a conversation. She could walk up to anyone and be of service to them. But boy, you do her wrong. You better have some fast getaway sticks. Outstanding. RBP, I know you're sitting down again. Do you want to share anything before you decide you have to run? And just
I'm going to
check
be
in?
listening.
Okay.
I'm ironing and packing, so I'm going to stay tuned in and listen because
Okay. If
It's
you
a good
need
call.
if you need to, just pop back in. Vach, good morning, Vach.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, real quick, Vach, I haven't forgot about you. My phone's been blowing off like crazy, so I'm
Rhonda,
driving
it's
today.
okay. I'm
Well,
gonna share
we
it
will
right
connect.
now.
Okay,
I'm
please
share it
do.
right now.
Okay, thanks. I love you.
I love you too. I wanted to say, Marina and her daughter, you guys need to take a picture right now
I
to
did.
capture this moment. Yes, they need to take the picture right now. Okay, so I got on the call today. Guys, I've had this poem that I wanted to share with you guys. Well, 2 poems that I wanted to share with you guys for like 4 days. And I guess God was like, it's not the time right now. Sean's not gonna have time for you today. So I was like, okay. And that was me for the past 4 days, and raising my hand. And every time Sean was like, oh, we gotta go today. And I was like, but then I was just like, it's just not the time. It's just not the time. And I guess now is the time. So I have 2 poems, but I don't know which one I should share with you guys. So I'm like,
How about both?
okay. All right. So there's an overall text that goes over both of these poems. And I just, well, as you guys already are, I want you guys to be very open-minded. And while you guys are listening, and I guess not necessarily the input on the poem, but how it like relates to you guys, whether that's in the chats or talking afterwards, whichever. Okay, so the text is this. The poetry that's in you is sprouting from the dirt of your past. Your flower is still blooming. Just because the dirt holds you, it doesn't mean you'll never grow higher than the highest of trees. The dirt held you, but it isn't the only thing that makes you bloom. Poem 1. Fresh flowers. Everything is everything and nothing is nothing. I found a way to be buried like the dead, but yet I'm alive. I found a way to be rained on while trying to figure out how to break through the soil. My soul. Just riding this wave, begging to not be pulled down any further. Focused on the wrong thing, so the wrong thing keeps happening. I want more. I don't want to be buried in this cemetery any longer. I don't want to bloom here. I'm yelling for help, yelling to be moved somewhere. Why couldn't I be buried in a garden? Why couldn't I be buried in someone's front yard? Why? Was all I asked as the thunder rippled across the sky. I knew there was more to life, yet the roots I had were forming here. I want to be in a colorful place where there are no shades of gray. I want to be away from all the buried bodies and dusted bones, all the spider webs and tombstones. I wanted to be in bliss. And the more I kept fighting my environment, the less I grew, becoming a product of my environment instead of allowing my environment to become a product of me. But what was I? A seed that kept trying to figure out how to bloom instead of doing what felt natural, just blooming? What kind of plant was I? I dug inside myself and pulled apart the seed that remained, relaxed and let God open up my remains. And then I started pushing past the dirt. I could see a glimpse of sunlight finally. And even though everything else looked rough, I knew I had to be tough. I had to figure out just what I was. As time passed, I grew taller and bloomed. People never walked by me in gloom. They always stopped and stared, so I had to know, what am I? A mother walked over to me. She brushed my cheek with her soft fingers and said softly, such beautiful such beautiful fresh flowers have grown here. And there's so many, all colors, blooming across the cemetery. What a beautiful sight for sore eyes. And there I was, standing tall as ever. I was fresh flowers. I brought joy. I brought happiness. And each day, someone admired me as the art in this dreary gray cemetery. I brought color to the black and white ball. I was lovely, and I brought an aroma, fresh flowers that danced in the wind and rose in the sun. I finally knew my purpose as the giver of smiles and God's gift of life. I finally knew that I, fresh flowers, was quite literally the same. With life comes death. I may live among the dead, but because of death, I know that I am life. Poem 2. High Mind. How great is our God? Not just yours or just mine, our. This is a we thing, whether you believe in Allah, Jesus Christ, Muhammad, or anyone, or no one. How great is the being that created this world? The scientists believe it was a cosmic boom. For me, it was a bloom, a mass construction of masses that someone thought of, the aftermath of someone's dream, a creation that modifies over the years. Through the passing of dinosaurs, ancient Greeks, mythology, and good God, even technology, how great is our skin? The molded creation of dusted memories that once given moisture gives us closure. How great is our inner self, both in terms of the white silk floating inside of our rushing bodies, the silk getting dyed while we live our lives in insecure purity, while our cells perform heavy duties in all of us. Created all similar physically, 99.9%, with the exception of life and memories, our bodies and minds creating our own memories. Our eyes deep flowing, being read by those who wish for us to seek their inner beings, wishing for us to foresee their futures, when 3/4 of the we can't even find themselves. We believe in a higher being above us, occasionally. We believe in ourselves, occasionally. We believe in destiny, depending on if our lives are going well. But we have yet to open up and see that in order to be, we have to believe in something, someone, anything. So how great is our God? Who or what is becoming your God?
Yeah, those will hunt. Vach, those are. Listen, Vach, you're going to open up. Do you have a constant contact or do you have some kind of email service?
Yeah.
What do you have?
Gmail.
Okay, but I'm going to ask you to go get like Constant Contact, where people can sign up for your poem of the month, poem of the week club. Because when you put these in a book, you want to have all of these email addresses. You're not going to start giving this stuff away and sending it out without you collecting emails. This is too valuable to your future. So you're going to go get a Constant Contact. There's other ones that are out there that are better than that. And I'll think of it in just a second. But you're going to go get a free version and let people sign up for it. You may pay $8 a month, whatever it is, but you are going to start collecting emails so that when you compile this into a 30-page ebook and want to sell it for $19.99, you're going to get value from this. I'm going to be your business manager from this moment on. Those are so valuable that people will sign up for them, but you are not going to give away your joy. You hear me?
Yes.
This is something that comes to you with a gift from God. And God says, and have you asked for ways to create and generate income?
Yes.
Yes, you've already done it. So and he says, I sent you the book, I sent you the this, I sent you the that, I gave you this gift of poems and you've been giving it away. Don't complain to me. So I need you to bring this to the world. And here's the thing. Those are so beautiful. They will not sit on somebody's heart unless they pay for them. This
Okay.
joy, the joy that you expressed in those syllables and sentences and grammatics are worth tremendous money. And people need to pay for them because otherwise they will feel cheated on their side. You are allowing people to give the gift of income because you are giving them a gift of freedom when they read your poems. People want to pay you for these. And Jasmine, you're absolutely right. I'd pay for you to read these poems to us. One of the greatest books I ever got was somebody who read about Rumi. And I never heard Rumi the way this guy reads Rumi's poems. So, yeah, you have just started a phenomenon.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I believe it, but okay. Let me read you
No,
a poem.
I mean, I totally
There's
believe
this
it.
girl named Vach who shared stories every morning. And because of that, she's now on a global stage with Oprah and Ellen and
Maya
Gandhi,
Angelou.
Maya Angelou, and all of these souls because she said the written word is more powerful than the sword.
Oh, I do believe you. I've been writing since I was like, I don't know, could write.
Cool.
Writing poems like forever.
So
you
your limited edition books signed by you, your first editions go out for $100 a piece.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what?
She didn't believe that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I didn't believe that. I was like, what?
She didn't believe. I heard that.
Okay. Yeah, the signed versions, right? Yeah, you've got a gift there, my love. And I can't believe that I have the recording of the first readings of these poems. Do you realize that?
Mm-hmm.
You realize that we have the readings of the first recordings of your poems, the first editions, the first evers. You and I have the recordings of that. I got to say I was the one that recorded that, so I get to shine the light going, did you ever hear the first recording that she has and she's reading it? Yeah, that was on my call. You think I'm kidding?
I know you're not kidding.
And so no matter, so when they interview you on Oprah, so how did you get started? Well, I get on this white guy's call from Texas.
Oh my God.
And this guy, and he'd let me read my poems. Oh, who is that? Sean Murphy. I'll be screaming, she said my name!
And please, when you read them, wear the headscarf that's in your picture and those glasses. Please,
Oh,
please,
okay.
please. Like you look it, you sound it, you feel it. Ah!
Yeah, all I'm picturing is you on a stool with one white light, and it's poem night, and everybody's sitting in the audience, and you hear every now and then somebody drinking from their drink, and you hear the ice in the glass rumble.
Yeah.
You're amazing, my
Oh.
love.
Thank you so much.
And that first one, talk about me being able to do, I could do a week training seminar on your first, on both of them, but on your
I
first
heard
one,
you, Sean, in that first one. I heard your mind
my
going.
God,
"Meow."
I was just absolutely,
I know.
I was planted in the ground with death, but I learned to live. What?
Mhm.
Oh,
I heard you.
all I have are these roots. What?
And then the why couldn't I be planted?
Planted in somebody's front yard. Oh my, I'm getting the chills again.
I know. I heard you so loud when she was reading that, Sean.
Oh, I mean, I'm going, oh my God. And then I'm fresh flowers. I bring smiles. Even in the black and white, I bring smiles.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was good.
You have to give me so much life right now.
well, it's the only reason we can give it is because you gave it.
Yeah.
You need to hear that. That's why I do a call, and there's 127 of you absolute loonies on this call still, because you got to hear this. Man.
And I really want to say, shout out to Rhonda, for real, because the day that you left her, the day that I had my hour-long breakthrough. She literally told me, to ask God, like, to reveal to me what it is that I have within myself that needs to come out, and ask God to hold me, as close as possible. And I've been since I've been asking that, I've just been feeling like I haven't been able to express myself in any way other than just writing poetry. Literally, that's it. Like, and that's why because I was caught. Me and Rhonda have been trying to talk for like 2 days for me to read her those. But it's because of that. Like, I dug in myself and I pulled that out, and it felt so unreal because just a couple of days ago I was thinking, why was I in this cemetery? But in reality, okay, it's fine to be in the cemetery, but you're the art that's there. You're the thing that people see when they're supposed to be crying, they're supposed to be unhappy, they're supposed to, be put down. But instead of feeling that way, they see you and it's like, oh man, that's a breath of fresh air. I don't have to feel like I'm drowning anymore because I'm seeing something that's pulling me out of this state of mind. And that's what Rhonda did for me. So I ended up putting that in the poem. So I guess that ended up coming around full circle.
You can probably see it, what it's done to Rhonda. But all I can tell you, Vach, is thank you. As soon as Rhonda composes herself, she'll have the words.
I know, I'm like fixing to do the ugly face cry on this whole show. Thank you for that. Thank you. I don't know how to respond to. I've always wanted to touch people's hearts, and you just told me I did, and that's.
But it wasn't that, Rhonda. It wasn't my heart that you touched. You touched my soul.
Oh,
that's
God.
Where my poetry comes from. My poetry doesn't come from just my heart. It comes from the deepest parts of me. So you asked me to search that part of myself. And when I was able to do that, I was able to produce something that I didn't even know that I could produce.
You are an amazing soul. You just gave a 45-year-old woman a dream come true moment that I have longed for since like 4 and 5 years old. Thank you. Oh my God, I'm just gonna fall apart. Thank you so much. I love you.
Oh, I love you guys too.
So Vach, I want to say thank you because since Saturday, right, just about a week ago, when I left Rhonda, I got to tell you,
you're fixing to do this, aren't you?
Just a little bit. She had this huge block that popped up, and you've just released that block. She literally went off the rails, and because I left her, I'm the one that had to deal with it. And she had this, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough. I can't believe I just watched court being held and held court for 3 hours, and I don't know if I served anyone. And I think you just answered that question. We all go through this. We all deal with this fear and doubt. You found it. You awakened it. And I promise you, these are your first ones since soul searching. You ready for what my mentor would tell me?
Mm-hmm.
Your first ones will be your worst ones.
Oh, wow.
And if those are your getters, if those are your starter packs, but you just gave a woman, and this is all I ask for all of us. You just gave a woman, regardless of age, regardless of location, the chance to live a 5-year-old dream. That's now 40 years old. And that's the first one for her, and many more to follow, many more for all of us to follow.
What I
So
would say to that, for Rhonda, or I guess for everyone, but when you were questioning yourself, like, I don't know if I gave any value or anything like that, we all know it starts with a mustard seed. That
ooh,
was
she's
it.
bringing it. She's bringing the Bible.
That was it. It started with a mustard seed. Come on now, like,
Yeah.
this, just that, what you may have felt like it was just a little bit that you gave me, that little bit that was planted in me. Almost 7 days later, it comes around full circle.
Yeah.
The day before, you're supposed to have the call to yourself again, so you were supposed to be able to know that you could do this before the second time you were doing this, so that you could have faith in yourself and that God was leading you in the right direction and your path towards helping others.
That's exactly right. And part of me was just going to keep milling around and getting things done. But then Nika started talking and God was like, sit down, you need to hear that part, speak this to her. And then Myrna came on and I'm like, oh, I can't move. And then you came on, I'm like, oh, I can't move. We've been trying to get together for days. And when you started reading that, and he started talking about being planted in a cemetery, that's when, God, I'm a mess. That's when the Holy Spirit started speaking to me about blooming and about being there and about being a source of joy in dark times for people. And it was exactly what you were talking about, being planted in a cemetery. And you're like, why the heck do I have to get planted in a flipping cemetery?
Yeah.
And then it keeps going and I'm like, oh my God. And I don't have to be the bright, shiny, oh my gosh, amazing. Just giving one person just a glimpse of what they need to send them on their journey. And then this comes out of it. See, I can do that. I can do that. And you just solidified God going, yeah, I gave you a big picture, but I didn't say you had to go from this to that big picture. Just do the one thing I asked you to do. And just bloom where I planted you. I'll bring the people around to see you. And it might be when they need you the most. So please just bloom where I planted you. Y'all, I'm a hot mess right now. Like,
I don't think that
I don't even want to look at myself in the camera because I'm like, I probably got the ugly red nose and the crying face, and I don't care. You speaking that into me, because Sean walked me through a major block, and I wrote it all down, and that's what I'll talk about tomorrow. And then being able to see you speak that into me and tell me exactly what the Holy Spirit started to tell me, which is, I'll prepare you the day before you speak. I'll prepare you. And dadgummit, watch if you don't show up and do that perfectly. I'm so, so thankful, because y'all might see me sometimes over here in this pink robe, and Sean, throws it to me every now and again. I am not all that in a bag of chips. I am not. But I'm becoming. I'm becoming.
You're so beautiful.
Thank you, Jessica.
You definitely are.
Look,
I must say, your beauty is beyond words. You are, and even if you don't believe that, you are a queen. You are royalty. You have
Thank you. Tell her.
destined and preordained to do exactly what you're doing, and that is changing lives from your life experience. You are changing atmospheres from the words and expressions that you've gone through. You had to go through what you went through in order to be where you are today, to tell someone else so that they can be enlightened and changed from your testimony. So yes, cry it out, because crying, it releases stress. Crying, scientifically, it is healthy. It helps you to live a longer life. So your testimony coming forth, bringing to the world, changing multitudes of people's mindsets. That's what I mean. At the end of the day, that's what we're here for, to make more money. But at the end of the day, in the transition of making money, we are helping changing lives. We ourselves, our lives are being changed all through your testimony, and everyone else webinars that we go to and listen to. Our lives are being changed. And the number one thing that is constantly being done, guess what? The mindset is being changed, because every millionaire and every webinar that I've been on, the number one thing that helps us to be successful significantly is mindset. And the mindset everyone has in this webinar, including yourself, a millionaire mindset. So this point, we are enlightening each other. So at any given time, I understand we are all human. You are human. Yes. However, you are beautifully made. You are a queen. You are royalty. If you have not noticed it yet, when you walk in the room, I don't even know you from a can of paint, but because of your spirit, because of what's coming out of you, your soul that you're putting out, guess what? Spirit recognizes spirit. So you're changing atmospheres in the supernatural realm without you knowing. When you walk in the room, everyone is looking at you. Why? Because they notice that there's an entity inside of you that they just can't explain, but they know they want it. They know that it's gravitating to them. You have an orbit around you. So at the end of the day, man, blessings, peace, and love. But at the end of the day, yo, keep pushing. We are all here. We are one family, and you are, again, royalty. I don't know if you're a mother, but guess what? You are a great mother. If you're not, you will be a great mother, because of your heart, because of your passion, because of your soul that you're pouring into this webinar. So you are royalty. That's all I have to say. Blessings, peace, and love.
That's all you gotta say.
Yes, Rhonda, when you cry, that's your heart talking. And literally, I cry every time you cry. I cry because you're so beautiful, honestly. And Vatch, oh my God, I can't thank you enough, literally. The other day when Vatch did her poem about strong women, I went downstairs to my kitchen and I was thinking about my granny, and I felt like she was in the room. It was really weird. Like, that poem spoke to me so much. And that the fact that the way you talked about a seed is beyond me, because I could hear like a film. I feel like I was watching a Netflix film and someone said there was a seed and it couldn't break out of the soil. And then it turned into this beautiful person like Rhonda. We have Rhonda every day, and she's embarrassed to cry, and she gives everyone a breakthrough every day. Every day there's a breakthrough, because you speak from your heart every day. You help someone every day. Every day.
Thank you. I need to hear that. Thank you. And I am zipping through all these pictures. Where is that beautiful man that just spoke to me? Where is
Dortis? Oh my gosh, he
Dortis.
make me need a tambourine every time he talk. Like, come on.
Dortis, where are you from?
I'm currently stationed in Atlanta, Georgia. However, a brief history: I was born in Liberia, West Africa, and I was raised here in Atlanta. As of 2009, I did missionary work in the continent of Africa, and from 2009 to 2014, and I managed to obtain my bachelor's degree in petroleum engineering. However, that's a short, brief history of where I come from, and things of that nature.
Dortis, thank you for speaking into me. It is a good thing I'm married to a good man, because I'd be hunting either you or Leo down all the time, and y'all would get tired of me stalking you. You are an amazing, amazing man. thank you so much for speaking into me and rising me up, and just, I needed that. I needed to hear it from the women, and I need to hear it from the men, and you stepped in as a complete stranger. Thank you so much for noticing what God has done in my life, and what God's done to my spirit, and the way he's helped me with my soul, and what he's put into my heart. Thank you for noticing that, because that's the biggest part of me, is
Blessings,
just,
blessings. It's I have a heart for the people, you know. Um, no matter what the situation is, you know, I see that that we as living organisms, my perspective on how I see us as human beings, living organisms, because we're constantly growing. Our living organisms, us being that, we are able to heal ourselves. That's what the body does. However, in the process of life and healing ourselves, because that's the way the body is functioned, we need vitamins sometimes, and those vitamins are not even sometimes physical. Those vitamins are supernatural. Those vitamins are theoretical, you know, and it helps give nurture to the brain, so that the brain at the end of the day, of course, tells what the body to do. So those dopamines will be dispersed from the brain cells through psychological, through spiritual, through supernatural, through spoken word, spoken into the atmosphere. And as a result, us all being caterpillars, we going through the transitional state of progression, right? To transcend to another level. We are all in this process of life. So we get to a certain point, guess what? We have to be in that cocoon. We get to that state of life, we're in a cocoon. Now, that state of life, in being in the cocoon, you're gonna have to be secluded. You're gonna have to be alone, because there are certain things that you cannot accomplish. We cannot accomplish if we have people around us. There are certain things that we have to learn in life, certain things that we have to achieve in life, certain things that we have to be stronger, or get stronger through that transition of isolation. And guess what? Once that transition of isolation is done, boom, we have beautifully blossomed into a beautiful butterfly that is able to spread their wings and fly. Before, you weren't able to do that because of your mental state capacity, but because of the isolation and the development, guess what? You transcended into an awesome, beautiful butterfly, and people are amazed. So I have a heart for the people, and I'm always willing to help and give that spoken word, because there's so much tragedy going on in the world, and there's so much negativity, and everybody will always pull out the negativity before they pull out the positivity, because and I can't blame them, simply because their circumstance. Sometimes our circumstances cloud our judgment of where we're actually initially wanted to go. So now we are confused. We can't see exactly where we wanted to go before, when we recently started this journey, because we're in the middle of the trial. We're in the middle of that storm. But in the midst of that storm, all you have to do is open your mouth and speak to your atmosphere, speak to that storm, because you have the power in your mouth. So if you believe the fact that if you speak and it will happen, guess what? It will happen, because you believe that when you speak, it happens. Right. But if you don't believe that when you speak, it happens, then it won't happen for you. Whoo! But I have a heart for the people. Blessings, peace, and love.
Wow. That's right. You are an amazing soul. Thank you for speaking that over me and over every one of us here. Thank you. You know, I got to tell you one thing real quick. When where I live in East Texas, there's a lot of tornado activity, and ironically, it kind of happens right above my house. And Dordas, you will not believe, well, you will, you'll believe this. Anytime the weather is anywhere iffy, and you can ask Sean, if you drive by my front yard, you will see me out in the front yard speaking the authority that is inside of me, that Christ put inside of me, speaking that authority back up into the atmosphere, and letting those clouds know, the wind and the rain still know his name. You have to go back up. You can drop your rain. You cannot be destructive here. And it goes away. So exactly what you just said. I speak with that, and I'm glad you rose that back up inside of me and helped me not to waver. And I will stand on that strength. I will. I have never had this much spoken into me from anyone, much less strangers. So thank you, and blessings over you and your ministry. I love you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Hey,
Amen. I
Rhonda,
love
it's
you
not
all.
over. Like, this is my first time on this call, and I need to share this with you because
Uh-oh.
I really think that this is my first time here, and this is so amazing. I have to read this. I have to. So, because I really believe this is who you are, right? So it says, the sowers of good seed are gathering eastward, and soon they will be harvesting their abundant fruit. They will be complete, wearing the armor of God. For their flaming swords will be razor sharp, cutting out all dead fruit from the harvest. After the harvest, they shall travel and bring with them free will offerings and the best pick of their harvest as an offering to the Lord. Their lamps will have oil to endure the journey through Eden, and they will finally pass over and meet the bridegroom, who in his mercy shall marry the virgin. They will feast and enjoy drink from the richest wine. Some will be drunken in their negligence and glutton in their appetites. The good sowers fall not to these acts, for they are blessed from their humble servitude in protecting the tree of life. And that's it. Like, you're protecting people's minds and their souls. And like, I love you for that. And
Thank you.
that's amazing.
I
And that's
love
it.
you. Thank you so much for that. You are amazing. Where are you at? Where do you live?
I'm in New York City. I grew up with Neno.
Oh, my Nano is my boy. I love Nano. He's like my son. Thank you so much. Tell me how to say your name properly so I don't East Texas slaughter it.
Moshe.
Moshe. Oh, and that sounds beautiful to say too. Moshe. I have a friend named Moshe.
It's
Woo!
my name, my Hebrew name, and it's Moses, basically.
Yeah, Moshe. I love it. Thank you so much. I love
Of
you.
course. And I love you too.
Yeah, I got a couple things to say, and then I'm gonna pass it back because I know so many people have their hands raised. Rhonda, something stuck with me when you said earlier. You said that God showed you the picture, the beautiful picture, and it was something like that. But what stuck with me was to say that, you know, sometimes that you can be shown the beautiful picture, but your job is just to hand out the paintbrushes. Okay. And then I just wanted to say, y'all, if y'all have not seen Sean this whole time, he just looks like he's in bliss right now. He looks like he's in bliss. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Okay.
Sean is in bliss because Sean's not having to do anything, and he sees me getting help, and I'm not having to make him do it. He just sees me getting all the love and the help that he knows I need, and he knows that my heart is absorbing at like astronomical rates. Like, y'all, this is a raw statement, and I hope it's taken properly. I've been in church all my life. All my life, I've loved God all my life. I have never been this spoken over in such a positive, love-filled manner as I have right here on this call. And even more so from these perfect strangers today that stand in the light, in his light. And thank you, Jessica. I do feel deserving of it. I do today. Y'all have lifted me up to make me feel deserving of that. That is what Sean has been speaking into me. Sean works with me one-on-one. God love him. He is earning jewels in his crown in heaven like crazy because of me and working with me. And y'all are speaking this into me. And this is the true love of God. This right here. Show up in any form, any fashion, from any race, nationality, creed, gender, any way. And this is the love of God. It knows no boundaries. It knows no end. And it's so there's so much of it that it can never all be used up. And this is light identifying light, and this is love pouring into those places. And this is what Sean teaches, and it's a supernatural spiritual lesson as well. When you empty out what needs to be emptied out, there's an open space, and if you don't fill it with good, it won't be filled with good. It'll be filled with negativity and evil and bad. So we sit on this call, and y'all feel me. Y'all help me empty out all the stuff that needs to go, that's not God's word over me, and y'all feel it with God's word. And you may not even know God's word, and you still feel it. And then he sends 2 perfect stranger men to speak over me God's word and God's journey for my life. What? And it all starts with this beautiful, beautiful poem that God inspired. And Vach just shows up and does her thing. Oh my, y'all, this is love. This is no agenda, no commission breath, love. And I hope every one of y'all feel this and what kind of love this is, and how people can show up and just pour into you, and they will walk away more filled because they gave more. Y'all have filled me up. I'm going to tell you right now, everybody in East Texas that gets a touch of Rhonda today, they're going to feel something crazy coming out of me into them. And I am so excited about this. I love y'all. Y'all have no idea what y'all have done for me. And because of that, that little 8-year-old girl that's still snugged up in there sleeping, you have no idea how you just changed her, because you changed her mama. And you touched her life. And her day will be so, so different because her mom is different. And that is huge. And then you go and you just changed my mama. My 74-year-old mama is probably vibrating somewhere, about to come out of her skin because of the energy that's flowing into me. And I will see her today. And you can better bet I'm going to be laying a big old hug on her, and she'll know it before I get there, because she's a woman of God that can probably already feel this before I ever felt it. So thank y'all. I love y'all. Oh my God, it seems empty just to say I love y'all, but I love y'all. I love y'all. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sean.
And that's
something
it.
was placed in my spirit, like to say about, to add on to what you were saying, as just essentially what we fail to realize a lot of times is we fail to realize what image we were created in, you know, because in the Bible, he tells us we're made in his perfect image. But if you truly, like, it's something I was pondering about, you know, in my personal meditation time and prayer time. What does God look like? What does God look like, you know? And think about, he said he made us in his perfect image. So when you look in the mirror, you're seeing what God looks like. And that goes for every single person. God is within you, and he's working inside of you. So the thing is, that perfection that we get, insecure because of our imperfections. We don't need to feel that way, because that perfection lies within us. And sometimes the things that we're praying for, the answer to those things are not going to come in the form that we expect, because what did God do to essentially save us? He came in the form of man. So he came in the form of man. So it's going to be the strangers. It's going to be those people that, as long as you allow yourself to be vulnerable and to, express yourself, like in the Bible, it says to talk about your problems, to share these things, because the thing is, God is working through other people as well. And the thing is, he uses you so mightily that it's like, it's bound for it to come back to you, and that's how it works. It's like when you do things just because it's from that generosity from the bottom of your heart, where you're not expecting anything back in return, he always will bring it back to you. That purity in your heart, he will always bring it back to you, no matter what way it needs to happen. Because the thing is, we have to realize we could be anywhere else in this exact moment. All of us can be anywhere else in this exact moment. The fact that we're here is not by chance. It's literally something that is predestined. There's people that they're not saying anything, But even what you just spoke and the things that, you know, that what other people are speaking, we're not just helping you. There's so many people that are just not bold enough to even, you know, to be that vulnerable in front of people that they don't know it, but they're literally being healed by these words, by these actions. And the thing is, God is just literally using us as vessels, just healing each other, just building each other, uplifting each other, you know? So it's something that I noticed very early on when I started coming on Sean's call, because I saw it from Neno. And it's literally just this exchange of just, you know, positivity, of just growth, of life. It's just life literally being breathed within us, out of us, into other people. It's beautiful. And it's honestly beautiful, you know? But anyone that...
Elijah, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just because I've been praying about to really understand just the weight and just the extent of what God's love is. And the more and more I started to realize, like, because, you know, we tend to have this, you know, like in the poem spoke to me really because it's saying, you know, we go through these hardships in life where it seems like, God, why did you put me through this? I didn't ask for this. I didn't do this. But then it's like I learned, okay, God is not doing anything to you. It's for you. He's building you up, because it's just like any father that loves his kid, you know, he's disciplining you. He's building you up into, you know, who you truly are supposed to be. Because the thing is, we actually don't love ourselves initially because we never truly learned how to. And the thing is, it's like, even me, I was this exact morning, like before I got on this call, I was in tears because I had a breakthrough. And it's we're all going through like the same breakthrough. Because I even had a dream yesterday that I saw like a younger version of myself. For some reason, I looked in the mirror and I saw like a kid version of myself. And I didn't know what it meant, you know, until, you know, I was with my devotion group earlier, like around 7, and it hit me very hard. And I realized that I always help other people. I find this joy in showing other people how to love themselves, because I never felt like I had that feeling. Like I didn't feel like that feeling was ever put upon me. So I didn't want to see it right in front of my face and allow people to kind of go through that. But I didn't realize that the whole time I'm doing that, I wasn't really doing it for myself. But then once I realized that, you know, Sean, the other day, he spoke something that really sat with me when he was just explaining what love is and how love is a one-way thing. That it's not that, like, I realized that because, okay, I went through all these problems, that never meant that God stopped loving me. God loved me before I even loved him, before I even knew what he was doing in my life. And at every single moment, when I make mistakes, when I do things of that nature. So a lot of the things that I'm beating myself up about, I'm like, oh, I'm not good enough, this and that. I'm realizing that literally, like, why do I feel that way? When I've literally felt love this whole time. I might have not understood it, but it's always been there, you know? And the thing is, it's like, it's not that we're necessarily speaking something into you that's not already there. It's just that now it's right in front of your face for you to realize it. Sometimes we don't realize the things that are sitting right in front of us until we hear it out of the mouth of someone else. Then it's like, oh, I knew that.
Yeah.
Elijah, you're an amazing soul. I appreciate
That's so
you
good.
sharing this morning.
I appreciate you, Sean.
Rhonda, can you give us a blessing to send us all on our way?
Yeah, let me finish, Elijah, with one statement. There's a statement that said, well, not a statement. There was something said that gave me a lot of freedom. And Elijah, you're hitting on it. And it's, God created me. I've accepted him. And because I've accepted him, he lives inside of me. And so when he lives inside of me like this, and he looks at me, and this is what gave me freedom. When he looks at me, he sees him. And because he sees him, I can stand in that glory, and I can stand in that honor, and I can stand in that authority. And I don't have to stand in anything else. And you guys have reminded me so much of that. And I love it. I love it. Thank you. I know, Sean, you got to go. So you want me to say a prayer over us? Is that what you're asking?
Yep.
Okay. Let me pray over us. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for today. Thank you that you are here, that you bring the exact souls that are supposed to be here. Thank you for your word from Vach. Thank you for giving her this creative ability that is a God-given talent to bless and to bring your word in through a poem that can minister to us and can bless our hearts and can rise us up. Father, thank you for each person that spoke into me. And thank you for giving me the voice you give me. Let me get out of the way and always let your Holy Spirit come through. Let it always be to bless you and glorify you and honor you. And in return, I know you'll take care of me. Father, thank you for the lack of selfishness in this group and in this amazing, amazing community and family. Thank you for every person. Father, I pray a blessing over every soul on this call, their families and the people that they touch. Let your Holy Spirit drip off of us and onto every person we come in contact with, whether they see our picture, hear our voice, or see our human body. Father, thank you for guiding this. Thank you for the time. Thank you for rising Sean up and giving him the strength to show up every single day. So moments like this can happen. Keep this channel clear. Keep it open. Holy Spirit, fall up on this call every single second so we absorb every single thing. Keep our hearts in line with you. Keep our hearts open to you and put a hedge of protection around every one of us. Your 12-foot angels around us at all times, keeping us protected and keeping us safe. And we know you will take care of everything about our lives as we keep our eyes on you and spread your love, your encouragement, and your word. I thank you for this moment, Father. I thank you for this time to pray to you together. You say where two or more are gathered, there you are also, and there's a lot more than two of us. And I thank you for that. Holy Spirit, go with each one of us all throughout the day and through our lives. And we bless you, we glorify you, and we honor you in the precious name of Jesus. Amen. Woo!
I'm Sean Murphy, along with the amazing souls that were here today. We'll see y'all where? At the next event. Y'all send some love.
Mañana.
Love you all. Amen.
I love you guys.
Love you all, guys. God bless.
Thank
You are
you so
wonderful.
much.
Love you all.
Love you guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Welcome Pittsburgh.
Have a beautiful, wonderful day, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have a
Have a good
positive,
one.
progressive,
Blessings,
and
peace, and love.
productive.
Rondo, I love you so much.
I love you. I love
You
y'all.
all too.
Love you all.
Thank you.
You're
everyone.
awesome.
Y'all have a great day.
Buenos días.
Buenos
¿Cómo están?
días.